What's up, everybody? This is Nate with IGN Xbox, and today we're going to be reviewing the Simpsons Game from EA. So the game takes place not only within the confines of Springfield, but basically throughout a bunch of your favorite Simpsons episodes. It parodies the show, it parodies other EA games, it parodies movies, it parodies even as far-reaching as Christianity. Basically, the game starts off with Bart finding a video game manual that is apparently dropped from the heavens. Within that manual, there are details about how each family member can use their newfound powers within their video game world that they know that they're in. The funny thing about The Simpsons is that it points out all the weird little cliches that all video games have. It does this with bosses that have obvious weaknesses.
Guys, look, the hatch opens after every 4 laser bursts. That's the weak spot when we need to fire.
Hey, Kodos, that ugly kid's right. Why are we exposing our weak spot after every 4 laser bursts?
Every obvious thing, every cliche is pointed out, and it's just hilarious through the entire game. EA did an excellent job of capturing the spirit of The Simpsons by using the original cast, the original creators. Matt Groening is even in the game playing the role of himself, which is just hilarious.
Violet, engage the super tuned defense systems.
Yes, Mr. Groening.
It's graining.
Are you sure?
No.
The Simpsons is basically one giant parody. It parodies so many different things. It stays fresh throughout each and every level. Part of that has to do with the fact that each level has its own theme to it. Basically, every level is its own episode of The Simpsons. Like, you're going to see stuff like the Land of Chocolate, Lisa trying to save trees from lumberjacks.
I blame this whole global warming thing on the Canadians.
There's a Medal of Honor episode called Medal of Homer.
Oh, look at me, I'm French. I'm a scared girl. I don't like being bombed and attacked.
The Simpsons game is basically one giant joke that never gets old, it's always funny, and Simpsons fans are really going to appreciate it. The gameplay of The Simpsons could probably best be described as a platformer. You're going to do a lot of jumping, a lot of climbing for ledges, but this is done, obviously, through controlling the 4 main characters that everybody knows. Each character has their own set of powers. Take, for instance, Bart. He can become Bartman, he has a slingshot, and there's Homer, who is easily the most fun character to play in the entire game. He can burp, he turns into a giant fat ball, he becomes Gummy Homer, and each one of his different forms has its own set of powers. It's just too bad that the other characters didn't have the same unique set of powers as Homer does. Like Marge only has a megaphone, she can control a mob of people, and that's basically it. He has a nice progression, whereas the other characters kind of stay the same throughout the whole game. As with other third-person perspective games, the Simpsons camera can get a little unmanageable in tight situations. This especially happens when there's a lot of enemies on screen at one time closing in on you and you're trying to swing the camera around to find the good sweet spot to battle them. It can become very frustrating. Another knock on the gameplay is actually what should be one of the game's strongest points, and that is the co-op play. It's obvious that the developers made cooperative play an afterthought in the whole development cycle, because the 2-player co-op campaign just isn't as fun as it should be. Since the levels are obviously designed with certain characters in mind, and those are the 2 characters that you have to use for that given level. But in the co-op gameplay, basically that leaves one character to sit idle while the other character is off doing their thing and accomplishing things within the level. And it just isn't fun for 2 people. So at the end of the day, it's just a really big disappointment that co-op is not as fun as it should be. It's supposed to be a main attraction of the game, and it's clear that it could be a main attraction for the game, and it's not because of poor design choices. The length of the game is also going to be a little disappointing for people who go out and spend $60. It'll run around 8 hours for the main campaign, probably around 10, maybe 12 hours if you want to go through and collect all the different things for each character, like Bart has Krusty coupons, Lisa has Malibu Stacy items, and the only real point to finding those are going to be for achievements. It doesn't actually provide any more story to the game or flesh out any of the characters. At the end of the day, The Simpsons game will be remembered as an 8-hour episode of the show that stays funny throughout. Co-op should have been much more fun than it is, but Simpsons fans are still going to appreciate the effort that EA put in to deliver a fully realized Simpsons experience.